fun.
Yeah.
But you can I got lucky because when I started releasing games, I immediately found my forte and found what made them shine.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to search and figure out what I'm good at.
Yeah. Exactly.
And release a bunch of games to figure out what I was good at. My first game I released was atmospheric, it was moody, and it was a story game.
Yep.
And that right there, that's what people loved, and that's what I love.
Yep.
And so it just automatically just worked out. And that's all I do now. So a decision I made when I was 18 determined my entire portfolio style, basically. You see directors get locked into a style, right? Like Tim Burton, he can't get away from his style.
Yep.
And maybe he wants to, but why would he,
Yeah.
And so for me, I think every game developer, they need to figure out what their voice is and what their style is.
Exactly.
And do you feel like you've figured that out yet, or is that part of this process?
No, I don't think I figured it out. And I think it makes sense because, for you are a good artist and a good storyteller. And for me, my background is in programming. So I feel like my default mindset is more linear, and you often talk about the Trinity hook of having a narrative hook and a mechanical hook and a visual hook. And I think things like a visual hook and a narrative hook are very easy for you, but for me I think it's easier to have a mechanical hook because I can go deep into the code and make fun gameplay. But the problem with that is that I think with a mechanical hook, it's harder to market because usually you need to get hands-on to see a mechanical hook a lot of the time. Sometimes you get it when you see it, but sometimes it's you have to be playing it for the mechanical hook to make sense.
That's right.
So,
I agree with, especially with more like Dark Souls, for example. It's the hook is that it's brutal.
Yeah.
I think. It's just awful and horrible, and it's the worst game ever.
Yeah.
And I'm being sarcastic, but not really, because I can't play those games. I'm not very good at those games. But that's the hook. The hook is it's brutal. So the question is, how do you communicate that?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
a lot of times it's done with the visual hook. Portal's visual hook is the same as the mechanical hook.
Yep.
So you're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I have a very simple stylized art style that I like to go for. I think I'm trending towards kind of cozy gaming, more casual, cozy,
Yep.
Light a candle, get a cup of tea, those kind of games. But I'm still trying to figure it out.
Do you think that I just having this conversation with my publisher? It was such a good conversation. My publisher said that the most important aspect of a game is the fun factor.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, do you agree with that?
Wow, this is actually a super philosophical question because it's
I know. I really want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Because I told him, I said, I don't know if I agree.
Right.
And he was like, at the end of the day, the games that, in terms of monetary gain, the games that blow up,
Yep.
they're just fun. It doesn't mean they're not beautiful. It doesn't mean they're not cozy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there's not a good story.
Yeah.
But above all, they're fun.
Right. But even in that rationale, did you catch that they said it's the fun games that blow up? So it's almost like if you could find something else that would make a game blow up, then would that be the most important thing that constitutes a game?
And what I think is, I don't think there's anything.
Yeah.
I do agree with him after our conversation, because it's I focused on story, I focused on mood and music for my previous games. Yep. They made me money.
Yep.
I went full time, and it was close to $1 million in gross revenue for these games, or I think it's more than that. But that's not blowing up.
Yeah.
That's good, but that's not blowing up. The games that blow up are sometimes they're stupid.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Totally.
it's stupid ragdoll games.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where the player has creativity and they have fun. And so you're saying, well, I love these cozy games.
Yeah.
Well, are they fun, and should they be fun?
Yeah.
Or should they just be cozy? What do you think?
The hard thing about any medium, especially games, is a lot of it is built up on preference. And I think that there is strategies for marketing that you can implement that captures a larger audience, right? but I don't think that there's necessarily a right or wrong unless you're measuring it by like sales or dollars, right? But it is like an artistic medium. Like for instance, the game that I just launched, Bridges and Docks, it's like a cozy island builder game, and some of the feedback that I was getting on like my devlogs and things that I was putting out online is like, what's the point of this game? You know, like there were no objectives, there was no gamification. You know, it's like it's in the same genre as Townscaper, if you're familiar with that game. You just place blocks, you know, bloop, 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 you know, you build these like beautiful environments, and some people love that. You know, it's the same kind of people that love playing with Legos or like the creative mode in Minecraft. But some people, it just doesn't click for them. They want an objective and they want to complete that objective, you know, and like have this sense of progression. And I don't think that there's necessarily a wrong answer for it. It's just sometimes it's a little more niche, and sometimes you capture a bigger demographic by the type of gameplay that you have.